So, guys, we are live, and it's just me for the first 15 minutes. I'm waiting for the equalizer to come in. The equalizer has just came through, and my dog started to bark just as it go live. So, somebody's going to be put into the doghouse if he doesn't stop. But the equalizer um, is here. Just going to send him a text to show him that I'm here now, to say that I can see him here. But I'm just going to sort of warm up for the next 10, 15 minutes, and then I'm going to put him on the screen. He is a bit nervous, guys, so show support for him. Show that everybody's here to support him. It's a very nerve-wracking thing. Um, and that's it, man. That's it. Everybody's tuning in now. So I'm just going to text the equalizer here. I can see him down at the bottom of the screen, and I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes before I. Yes, Jojo, I am too. This is the first time I've seen the Equalizer. This is the first time that I know who he is. He's going to tell his story. He's going to let everybody know what he's been through. He's told me bits and pieces. So tonight I'm going to, if there's, I'm not going to ask him questions about his personal life, but I will be in regards to Decca and why the Equalizer's done certain things for Decca. I'm going to be asking the hard questions in a legitimate way. Not a troll, guys. I'm not going to sit on a couch. I'm not going to sit um somewhere making accusations. We're going to talk about fact, and I'm going to ask the hard questions. I'm going to represent everybody in the comment section throughout YouTube that wants to know um wants me to ask the hard questions. So he's just going for a cigarette. I'll actually just send him we voice note live. So you go for a cigarette, man. I can see you down at the screen. I'll be putting you live in 10. Good man. Don't worry. Everything's fine. You're getting a lot of support, so good man. So that's a wee voice note to the equalizer. Now he's going to tell you his real name. He's going to tell you why he does what he does. It's quite an emotional story too. There's lots of ins and outs. Noel, good man. Kelsey, good woman. Stephen, good man. Speculative fiction. I seen you comment on Decca's live saying that you thought this was going to happen on his live. Um, and there's just me, good man. Colin, good man. But no, this was happening here. Uh, I'm new to this YouTube stuff, so I'm sorry about my promotion. My promotion for YouTube is wicked, wicked, terrible. I still have to learn about editing and stuff like that. So the equalizer is just a way for a cigarette. His nerves are absolutely wrecked coming out like this. But I've trying to make him feel comfortable speaking to him today, and just letting him know that it's all right. But everybody's here to support him. So he'll be coming on in what time is it now? He'll be coming on in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, or maybe after a cigarette. He might come on a wee bit earlier. But we're trying to sort of work this where Deck is his podcast ends, so then he can come on here and watch. Oh no, no, I just seen you comment. Oh yeah, your fans give you the wrong. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, your fans told you that it wasn't Deca's channel. No, no, it's on this one. KR, welcome. Hit the subscribe button if you can, guys, just to help the channel grow. If you like crazy stories, if you just haven't seen it already, I released a story today about what happened to me when I was 14, where I possibly entered a serial killer's house, and pretty crazy shit. So give that a wee watch if you want. And I put one up about another one. I can't even say the name of the title or what it's about because it'll just flag this video. I had to speak in code for that one. Hey, I like your channel. Very well spoken and informative. Thank you very much, KR. You're not Kenny Russell by any chance, are you? KR. Foot golf's coming. Golf's coming home. How can Decca be sure you're not a double agent? Well, this is the thing. I did work for the FBI for for 5 years of my life. That's why I can get everybody's IP address. So he's just going to have to trust me. Do you just want to believe that or not? Do you think I'm telling the truth? You decide. Decca finished his podcast now. Has he? Already? What time is it? Oh, fuck, I sure, 10 o'clock, isn't it? I forgot about that. Oh, KR, you're female. I just have a mate with the same initials, and he says that he was going to jump on under those initials. So I thought that maybe you might have been him. There's Lee. Thank you very much, Lee. Much appreciated for jumping on. We'll be going very, very soon here. So I will. What I'll do is I'm very open, guys. So I'm going to just give him a ring here to make sure he's fine and he wants to come on. So, Equaliser, do you want me to put you on the screen? Yeah. Okay. I'll have a wee countdown, and then that's it. Then you'll be on the screen. Okay. Good man. Good man. So, let me just see. How are you, my man? Keeping well?
Good evening, mate. How are you?
It is an absolute pleasure to actually speak to you and see you face to face. I'm just going to have to change my banner because it's actually covering my head right now. Or I can do what I can do. I can move over this way. So
that's better.
The Equaliser. What is the Equaliser's first name or real name?
His name's Steve.
Steve.
Yeah. As they rightfully trolled, and they found that information.
Yes. So just to let everybody know, Steve me and Steve have been talking a wee bit, and Steve's story is actually a pretty emotional story. It's a pretty gripping story, and the reason why you got into this was because you're actually a very, very good person, Steve. So, from your own words, Steve, why are you in this situation right now?
Well, it's a funny thing you should say. I've been watching YouTube channels for a while. Probably about 3 months ago, I'd noticed all this crap that was going on between these trolls that I know now, defammators, towards Decca. And I studied it for quite a while I've been watching all these other YouTube channels. And one day I decided to butt in. I sent a message to one of the people that are going to be exposed.
Yeah.
Simple message.
Mm-hmm.
And that was 3 months ago. And from that moment forward, I got nothing but abuse, threats. If you don't stop supporting Decca, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. That's how it started for me.
Right.
Now, these people, I'm not going to defamate anybody, but these people that are trolling Decca, they started by they started by searching down my Facebook wall. And anything that was public, or people I'd spoken to that was public, they were sending them messages. Now, a certain individual who will be exposed in Decca's Exposure, I'm not naming names, but I know exactly who you are, what names you go under. They sent a message to my sister. and they started questioning my sister, trying to get information who I am, where I am. Not only that, they also started sending a lot of messages to my family and to my friends. Some were nice, and some wasn't so nice.
Mm-hmm.
That was within the first 4 weeks of me sending the initial message, which was 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
After I started receiving threats, that was when I started giving back. At that stage, I thought, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
You know, am I saying something I shouldn't? All of what they were saying about Decca wasn't nice. So I started questioning myself. I thought, you know, they're saying all this crap about this guy. It might be true.
Yeah, guys. So just to let you know, just to give you a bit of a breather there, Steve, just gather your thoughts because at the end of the day, this is a big thing for you. It takes a lot of courage, and I commend you for that. But just to let you know, Steve went into this thinking Decca was 100% guilty of everything that these people were saying, and
Yeah.
when researching this, he realized that actually, hold on 2 minutes here. All of this is just opinion, and there's actually no facts sort of connected to this. And in researching this, he then sort of, as you do, you left a comment, and this is when they targeted you. And so they target you, they target your sister, they target your family, and they basically it's basic trolling what they done to you. So then after 4 weeks, they
Basically, after 4 weeks,
yeah.
they started targeting my terminally ill wife with the same garbage and crap. You know who you are. I know who you are.
Yeah.
So it was at that point I thought, what the fuck? So it was at that point that I first made contact with Decca to ask him what the fuck, you know,
As you do.
to ask him what
As
the
you do.
fuck is all this about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why are they troll? You know, why? Because I put one message to an individual. Are they trying to target me and say all these evil things about him?
Mm-hmm.
There was so much going on with what they were saying
So can we just recap
that
that, Steve? If you
I
don't mind,
couldn't sit back and say, hold on a minute, I've got to look into this. You know,
Steve,
because
Steve, you went by something there, and it's a very emotional thing that you just said, and it's a very horrible thing, but it needs to be sort of re-said. They targeted your terminally ill wife.
yeah,
So, um,
with the messages that were coming to me, you know, I didn't care less. I mean, they made death threats against me. They put £30,000 on my head. They know who they are that's done that.
and that
But
was a big thing
the
for
moment that
you.
they actually searched for my Facebook to find out who my partner was, because they searched through my Facebook, they went through my friends lists, and where you got, you know, where you can have your partner up on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I've since had to shut that down. But they saw who she was, and they started sending her horrible, horrible Facebook messages. You better tell Steve not to blah blah blah, right? You tell Steve to stop. Decker's a nonce. We're gonna make your life. We're gonna make your partner's life hell, right? My partner, she's terminally ill, right? Now I'll skip forward a bit and we'll come back. You claim you protect vulnerable people from this so-called horrible beast that you're making bullshit up about the man.
Well, let's
You
you know,
claim you
Steve, let's
claim
not get ahead of
you claim
ourselves
to
here.
help you claim
Steve,
to help vulnerable
Steve,
people, but yet
Steve,
you're
let's
threatening a vulnerable woman.
Steve, let's not get ahead of ourselves here, right? Because that's one side of the story. So you're telling your side of the story, but what we'll get to is the things that happened to Decca, and what happened to Decca is separate to what happened to you. I know it was because that you supported Decca that happened to you, but the vile, horrible things that was said to Decca, let what we'll talk about is the facts surrounding that. Because I'm getting a lot of comments here, people saying, I'm defending a beast Decca. Nobody is defending Decca. I will say this, and I'm sorry to interrupt you there, Steve, because I just seen one comment there. Every day, I search to see if there's any substance to what Decca actually done. The day I find out there's any facts, any convictions, any actual proof or evidence, and not somebody's hearsay of a man sitting somewhere on his couch
Well,
saying that,
see, so the thing
that's
is,
one of the,
Roman, right?
yeah.
How
So
can you
sorry, you go
convict?
ahead.
How can you convict a man with words?
But
How can
that,
anyone convict a man with words? Right?
yeah.
He's had his phone taken. He's had DNA done on him. He's done interviews, and none of it's been founded because he hasn't been charged.
So
I'm
that's
gonna
one
deal
thing.
with. I'm gonna deal with facts today,
Yes,
and
facts
facts
today.
only.
Facts
Yeah,
today and facts only. So they've targeted your terminally ill wife because you've made a Facebook post or you wrote under somebody's
because
Facebook
I
post.
made a message in comment of supporting Decca. I
Right.
didn't even know the man at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know what his personal life is,
Hmm.
but one thing I can say, I did do my checks. I done whatever I could do possibly as a human to find these allegations
Hmm.
to be true.
Hmm.
And do you know what, Ronan? I
Hmm.
I I I, I, I employed a couple of my friends that work in different areas and fields. I gave them the name, the area, the address. And do you know what? They couldn't even find one thing or one conviction to what these animals are alleging against them. Now, to be honest with you, at the start, my attitude was exactly the same as yours. If this guy's guilty, I'll run the bus over on him. I'll run the bus over on him and reverse it,
Hmm.
right? Let's just say that was my attitude
Hmm.
because I'm not having no individual target my terminally ill wife if the person's going to turn out to be the character what they're claiming.
Hmm.
But I employed certain people from certain areas. I done so much myself,
Hmm.
but I had to ask a couple of close friends in certain areas, to because they can track anybody and get any information on anyone, right? I'm not divulging that, but nothing came back to me substantial that was even remotely close to a conviction.
That's the conclusion I came to. But that said, Steve, I am here to ask the hard questions. And there's a lot of people in the comments, some people who people are calling trolls, but you know what? There's some people that not everybody's a troll for asking a question. Some people themselves will come in and just want to find out the truth and have heard information. Now, I'm totally unbiased in this. I've never met Decca in my life. I'm not from England, and I've known the man for the guts of a month, right? Now, when I first heard the allegations, I thought to myself, come on, what the fuck? Like this guy's got a YouTube channel. So I looked into it, used all the different search engines, and DuckDuckGo, Google, every single one of them, Yahoo, and all of them, I could not find a shred of evidence or any or a conviction. Now,
Do you
once
know
again,
why?
I do have friends in other areas that can look into certain things for me, and they
Mm.
couldn't find anything. Now, I don't know if that's because of different databases, because of England and Northern Ireland, but they couldn't find anything. Now, the question is, Steve, right after all that shit why then did you not just think to yourself, well, fuck this here, it's not worth it? Why did you think to yourself, well, I'm going to proceed in doing
Well,
this?
I thought long and hard about that, because I thought, do I want to get mixed up in all this? But there's just one simple answer. There's not a shred of evidence that I could find against this man. And like I say, I took it for 4 weeks. This was 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got in contact with Decca
Mm-hmm.
to ask him what the fuck. After speaking to Decca,
Mm-hmm.
how can people drive somebody to want to take their life? That's why I'm sat here. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Not just for Decca. If there's anybody else out there that's going through exactly the same from these fucking people, get in contact with me. I'll support you 1,000,000% if I can prove that you're innocent. If you're innocent, I will stand up for honesty, fact, and truth. I'll help anyone if I can. The thing that made me believe even more in Decca is the extent that these people go to try and convince you otherwise. The threats, the bullying, the abuse. If you want somebody to come on your side, you don't stand up and give them abuse. You don't abuse anybody within their family. You don't message Tom, Dick, and Harry. Oh, do you know this person? I want information on him. You don't go to that extent. You're all full of crap.
Yeah, so
Lies.
I'm just looking at a couple of comments here. Humble Dryer #2 has came in, and they've said that, and let's show everybody respect here, guys. This isn't a podcast where we sort of try to disrespect people. So Humble Dryer #2 has said, what about the evidence from Decca's own mouth? What about the evidence from Decca's own mouth? Now,
It's not evidence from his mouth, because what you're doing is convicting him with mouth.
Right. So I think what they're saying is the things that he's admitted to, like in his past, and
All right, let's touch on that part.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll say it to Decca. I'll say it on here for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We've done things in our life, yeah, as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is the part where you're seeing my unbiasedness. He's a dickhead for allowing himself to do them stupid things in the past, leaving himself wide open for criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've nicked a bar of fucking chocolate from a shop when I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm. But are we?
Well, I regret. But then, what you got to understand, there's a massive difference,
Mm-hmm.
right, between me. Rona, I'll take an example. Yeah, I can pick up the phone or go into the police station right now, and I could say that you've robbed my hi-fi. I've made an allegation,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know it ain't true.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm only doing it because you told me to bugger off yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get
Now,
that.
now, the people out there, what they got to understand, yeah, we've all been in that situation. Anybody can say anything about anybody as an allegation.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always said to Decca, he's got nothing to justify. The police, in each situation, in each allegation, they took his phone.
Mm-hmm.
They took DNA. They done an investigation. And it came back that there was no charge to answer to. That's by the state of the law. That's the big difference between an allegation and somebody actually doing something and getting charged. You can't tell me he handed in his phone, for Christ's sake. They done
Right.
checks
So,
beyond reasonable
Steve,
doubt on the phone.
Steve, here's another great question from somebody here, and this is what needs to be cleared up. And Jimmy Savile have no convictions, but people in their hometowns know what went on. Now, what I will say about this is, guys, right? Decca is from a housing estate. Jimmy Savile was in Buckingham Palace, right? So he had, if anybody's read into the Prince Andrew claims, that man has got the British media working basically for him. Decca lives in a housing estate. So for me to put Decca in the same bracket as a Jimmy Savile is
No,
absolutely crazy. He
you
doesn't have
can't put
those.
him in that same category.
No, no, you
No,
can't. Now,
or even
this
Prince Andrew, because that's not the case. The case is Decca Heggie,
this is
not
where
Jimmy
I
Savile, not Daniel Kinahan.
so
Different
this
situations.
so where I'm totally unbiased in this here. I look at a comment like that and I think, well, people can't be that fickle in their own brain and actually think that Decca has got the same connections as Jimmy Savile. So
But
if
let,
you know,
let, let me get through to try and answer that part as well. Isn't it strange how all these allegations and all of these trolls that have been hounding him, they all have an axe to grind against Decca.
yeah,
Yeah? They all, and I state all of them, have got prior convictions, fact.
mm-hmm.
Now, what better way to set somebody up, right, than to make an allegation?
Definitely, yeah.
You've all got axes to grind. There's one name, I'm not going to even say it, but you know who
Say no
you are,
names.
and
No names.
you're probably watching, right? You've had an axe to grind for 12 years, and that's a male. We've all had ex-girlfriends, yeah, that haven't liked us because we've left them. Incidentally, you also contacted two of my ex-girlfriends to get information.
So they contacted your
Point proven,
ex-girlfriends.
right? If we leave a girl and the female being a female don't like it, the first thing they're going to be wanting to do is set that person up. Each and every one of these people that have come forward and creating this group have got an axe to grind against him.
Steve, you're going over a massive, massive thing there, Steve. This is the fine details that people don't understand. They contacted your ex-girlfriends and done what? And what was the topic of that conversation?
They it's up on my channel, so I'll talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Contacted my ex-girlfriend wanting to know who I was, where I lived. Have you got any details about this guy? What he's done? Has he done anything wrong to you? Has he beaten you up? Has he hit you? Can you tell me anything about his past? That's just a few of the questions that these people were asking to try and find out who I was.
What?
It's on my channel.
So
Proof's in the pudding.
Well,
this is the extent that these guys go to. And all I'd done, Ronan, was sent a simple message. I didn't even know Decca at this point. I sent a message because I've seen all the disgusting things they were saying, and that's how they've dragged it in, and that's how they've treated me from sending one single message of support for Decca.
I'm actually a wee bit taken aback by that. They contacted your ex-girlfriends to see if they could get dirt on you.
Two of them. And do you know how they found it out, Ronan? They searched back my Facebook for 7 years down my Facebook wall. Anything that was public, they were contacting, and this is how they were trying to find information about me. Why didn't they just come to me and ask me? Why do they have to go to the extent to involve my family, my friends? You know, this is how deep this goes, Ronan, with these mentality of these people. If they can't get you on side by talking to you like a human, This is how they try and get you to change your mind. Any weak mind. Now, I had to sit back and think to myself, if I was in Decca's shoes and they've done this so bad for me for 2 years, I try and take my life. If I took my life, could they live with their self? And why would they want a person to commit suicide? That's just wrong.
So do you
They
think
claim,
the end goal
but
of
like
this
I
here
say,
is
but the
commit
big mistake
suicide?
they made with me was when they contacted my wife. That was when I sat back and I thought, hold on, I know Decca is innocent because he's done stupid things in his past. I've told you that. He's a dickhead. If you're listening, you're a fucking dickhead. You left yourself wide open for these idiots to set you up.
Mm. But Steve, so you think the end goal of this is to make somebody commit suicide?
I believe that. I believe it, yes. They've
Just
pushed
to
him to that, Ronan, they've pushed him to that point already.
just listen, guys, just to let you know, right? I don't know Decca, I don't know Steve. I am unbiased in this situation. I'm new to the YouTube world, and this is, I try to listen to both sides. Just my own personal experience here. I haven't been forced to say or do anything from the side of Decca and anybody associated with him. But in regards to the opposing side, I've received messages. I've received threatening messages. I've received all types of messages.
Ronan, that's what I'm talking to you about. Now, you've only been sat on the fence, as they say.
Hmm.
As a podcaster, you're doing your content.
I have to. I
And
have to.
it so happens that you've come across this.
Yeah.
Yeah? You've been sat on the fence 100% all the way through. So why the hell are they threatening you now to try and win you onto their side?
Well, the
You
thing
know,
about it is,
that's the question I asked myself. And I said to myself, well, that just proves to me how innocent Decca really is. And they are actually forcing people to go on their side, lump it or like it. They're setting him up 1,000,000% true. And fact is what I deal with today in honesty.
right? Okay. Well, there's a good question now, Steve. There's a good question. Why do you think that is? Is it personal beefs previous to the podcast? Is it maybe being associated with the wrong crowd growing up? Is it people very, very jealous? Is it people having actual real opinions about Decca that have substance to it? What is actually going on here? Why would they do this to a man?
Well, I think I can have numerous answers for that one. You know, I think this will go back to probably when he was dating somebody.
Hmm.
And like, if you leave that person, well, there's going to be a little bit of,
Hmm.
tightness. Now, that's the main one. I'm not going to mention names, but she knows who she is.
But there's a
Right? That's
couple
been
of men
working.
involved in
She's
this,
been
Steve.
working with. She's been working with these others to do the setting up. Number one, I believe that's fact.
But Steve, there's a couple of men involved in this that have actually, in my look, I've just looked. Listen, I don't comment underneath anybody's channel, Steve. But when I'm looking, I look at certain accounts and what they're talking about, and I see a pattern of what they're talking about. And information wise, I see one comment. Somebody will comment underneath a such and such's channel, and then in about 2 days, everybody's commenting the same thing. So it's like they plant the seed, and
Yeah.
then once that seed's planted, it
Ronan,
grows.
the seed for this was planted 12 years ago. Fact,
Mm.
right? That's what I believe. The seed was planted, like you say, the seed was planted 12 years ago between two individuals,
Hmm.
a female and a male. And this male, um, after I believe he split with a certain female, didn't like the situation. And for the past 12 years, he's been one of the main ones. There's
Hmm.
been a lot of money exchanged hands,
I believe so.
right? Fact. There's been money exchanged hands for videos to be made. There's also been large sums of money exchanged hands for people to troll Decca. Fact. Because of, like you said, something that happened 12 years ago, the seed was already planted.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the information. Fact.
Mm-hmm.
I can name the person right now, but that will be out in the expose. I'm not leaving. I'm not saying it now. It's ready for the expose, that one. So from my point of view now, I've put myself in the situation, right, to help Decca, and I'll still stand by him to my last breath. What I've been through, that's enough to topple anyone. What they've tried with me. My brain is a lot stronger. I've been through a lot in life, and my brain is stronger than most wise men out there.
Mm-hmm.
At the start, I didn't believe a word. Right? I had to do my own investigating to make sure for myself that I was supporting this guy for truth, and not just for the sake of it.
Mm-hmm.
I've done those checks. Like I said, I'll go back to the allegation parts. None of you out there in that wide world will ever convict any individual with words of a mouth. Convictions will come with evidence. The police have had his phones. They've done forensics. They took DNA, blah, 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 what the police have done. No convictions come of it. Fact.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can see it was a setup. Do you know the main reason why, Ronan? The same as what you've mentioned, the threats. I'm not going to threaten you if I want you on my board.
No, nobody's threatened me from.
I'm going to. No,
Nobody's
I mean, with the
threatened me.
nasty comments with trying to force you to go onto their team
Mm-hmm.
or onto their side, if that's how you would like to put it. I wouldn't do none of that. Do you know why? That'll push me more away from the truth, the bullshit side of things. Everyone in the world can see this being a setup, especially the stuff you put about me.
Mm-hmm.
No one needs to go through this stuff, right? If any of you have got a brain, right, why would you want somebody to take their life through all of this? Why would you want to bully somebody to the extent that they want to take their life?
So
That's mad.
Steve, there's a question here. It's directed for you. What about Rhonda, his friend for 15 years or whatever? What is Steve's view on her?
I've covered that with no name.
Mm-hmm.
The seed was planted. That's all I'm going to say on that issue.
Okay. Well,
the seed was planted from that moment.
Yeah.
But she is involved in a lot of this setting up.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever asked that question.
Listen, I think.
And let me add something more. For the allegations that she's made, I'll stick to what I've put. She deserves 2 years imprisonment for false allegation. Along with anybody else that's made the false allegations of the 4 others. Mm-hmm. They deserve time inside. Time inside, whether male or female, for making false allegations. Mm-hmm. Kelsey, that's my answer.
Right, so we've spoke a wee bit about that and your views on that. I'm just going to give you my personal view on the whole situation. As an unbiased person, I haven't known Decca for as long as you. I don't know Decca personally, but I'm going to just give you my view on the whole situation. So, as I say, I've covered this. I haven't been forced to say anything. I haven't been paid money to say anything.
Is there any more questions out there from the viewers?
But what I will say is, Steve, is that in regards to this whole situation, I haven't found one shred of evidence, right?
Do you know why, Ron, you won't find it because it's not there.
Steve, every day, you don't understand, Steve, every single day, I take what people say serious. Even if it's a troll, I'll go. You know what? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'll actually check out what they're saying here. And I check it out, and it turns out to be somebody with a YouTube video that's laughing about something. This is another thing we're going to talk about here, Steve.
See, the other thing for the public, right? Somebody put, like Ronan's repeated, put a shred of solid evidence in front of my face. I'll be the first one. I'll be the first one to run the bus over him.
So
but until that evidence and that solid proof is put in front of me, you're all setting him up.
Steve, I'm noticing there's a trend. So, for instance, whenever like I'm getting bombarded from one side, bombarded from the other side, but actually no, on one side of this, I'm getting told that, you know, you're sticking up for this type of person, and then I'm looking into the situation. I'm going, well, how can you say that? Because there's no evidence. It's just people saying stuff. So how can you blame me for not?
You can't convict anyone on words of mouth. Words of mouth will not get you charged.
I wouldn't like to think that, you know, if something came out about Steve, people would just believe it. I wouldn't like to think if something came out about Humble Dryer, somebody would just believe it. I would stick up for Humble Dryer. If somebody came out with a fake allegation against Humble Dryer or any of these people in the comment section, and I knew them,
you're going to check it. You're going to check it out first, though, to make sure it's fact, aren't you?
Yeah.
Before you start defending it.
Like, yeah, and I would say the same to Decca. If Decca came to me and says, "Well, such and such done this," and I says, "Well, show me the proof, Decca," and he says, "Well, I don't have any," I say, "Well, you can't fucking talk about it then, because there's no proof. There's nothing to say that person done it. So this isn't me sitting here biased toward Decca. I'm going to be real as fuck right now. What you've told me about the level of cyberbullying and the level of terror, what they've basically put upon you over the past couple of months, is disgusting. You shouldn't have to go through that. As soon as they found out your situation with you and your wife, they should have just stopped. Now,
but that's the mentality and level of these people and individuals.
Yeah.
If they're willing to stick somebody so bad that they want to take their life through all this,
yeah,
you've got to understand the mentality of them.
Yeah.
And they think it's funny. And the other thing I've noticed, the more bizarre and more threats and the more damaging murder, this, that, the other, they're laughing about it.
That's what I'm saying.
They're actually fucking having a laugh at somebody else's misfortunes of how they want to put them.
That's
me more than anything.
Great, Steve. Great point. So this is one thing that made me think about what's actually going on here. So whenever I was watching the other videos of the other people, I'm not going to mention their names, I would give them the benefit of the doubt and say, well, hold on, maybe these people know more than me. So I was watching the videos and I noticed one thing with all of them, that they would actually take pleasure in reading out these fake allegations.
Come on, Ronan, these are the people that we're dealing. Well, these are the people I've had to deal with, even down to this afternoon. Right, they put a video up on Criminal Underworld site on Facebook, and somebody made a comment. Oh, that's Steve Clark. I heard stories about him. He shagged his sister. Right? That's the sort of comments they're putting up on Facebook and on YouTube. Right? It was on YouTube also. Come on. How can you take anybody serious that's going to make a stupid comment like that? You know? But to take pleasure from thinking that they're drilling a man into the ground. Taking pleasure from saying these horrible things. I'm sorry, but my mother brought me up differently. Could you get pleasure if I started slagging and saying that I want to make this man die? Would you get pleasure from that? I wouldn't.
The only way I would get pleasure of doing something like that, if I knew 100% that was true. See if that was true. See if there was any evidence to this. I would not be sitting here right now. I would be sitting here right now, but I would be saying, look, I have the evidence, Steve, and I'm proving the evidence right now. I've got all the paperwork. This person sent me legitimate paperwork. It's been verified by police. It's been verified by the authorities, and this is what it is. And I would say, Steve, you should be hanging your head in shame, mate. It's absolutely disgusting that you're defending this type of person. But no, we're not saying that. What we're sitting here saying is, Steve, there is not a shred of evidence. I can't give you proof. I can't show you paperwork. I can't give you any of those things. All I can give you is other people's YouTube videos of what they say. That's all I can give you. So as it stands, I can't go down the line of unless something comes out, then I'll be like, well, fuck.
Exactly.
Steve, if something comes out about me and something comes out about you, of course you're gonna just wipe your name clean away from their name. But as it stands, I cannot see a single thing. I know there's loads of comments and people are saying there's this, and this. Where is the paperwork?
Where is the proof?
Where is the proof?
What the proof in front of our eyes? Another.
Yes.
Incidentally, can I put a shout out quickly?
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Crime Scene NE. Right, if you guys haven't subscribed to his channel, go and give him a subscribe, ring his bell, and follow his channel.
Yes, guys, jump over to Crime Scene NE and just subscribe to his channel, and remember to ring the bell if you ring the bell, and so you can hear about his future content. He does have a good channel. Unfortunately, I do make content, so I don't get to watch a lot of content. But if I am going to watch content, I do try to jump over to his channel and watch his stuff. I've actually been sort of took a wee step back from normally speaking, but the thing about it is, Steve, psychologically, how is your mind, because with the things that you have to deal with at home and now you have to deal with this online, do you not just feel like deleting your account and just going, fuck it, fuck YouTube?
No, because do you know what? If I let them win, if I delete my account and disappear, right, they've won. Mm-hmm. I've got nothing to win or lose, right? I'm living my life as a human. I'm taking care of my wife. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It could be a year, it could be 6 months, it could be 3 years. It's why my message, and I'll give an insight into my channel name, the Equaliser. Years ago, when I was a child, when I was a kid growing up, there was a program on telly. Edward Woodward, the Equaliser, stood up in that program. He would help the underdog and the weaker people in deeper situations, and he'd equal the odds to make it in their favour. Mm-hmm. That's where I got my channel name from. Because Decca is the first one. I've realised how deep this issue is. There's quite a lot of people out there going through exactly the same as this on YouTube because of these idiots. I'm reaching out to you guys, right? If you've been trolled by these idiots to the extreme that you feel you want to leave or take your life,
this is what we're dealing with here. This is what we're dealing with. So we're supposed to take that serious. He's the person giving out all this information, and we're supposed to take that person serious.
That name there planted the seed 12 years ago with that female name that was mentioned in the question for me a little bit ago. These two are the ones that have been the main one from 12 years ago. Fact. You're not big. Mate, you sit behind a keyboard to try and threaten people into submission. You try and ruin people's lives to the extent that they don't want to be around on Earth no more. Shame. Shame. Absolute shame. There's plenty more people going through it other than Decca, Ronan. They have reached out to me. At the moment, you know, I'm going off the point slightly, but
no, you're not. You're speaking. This is
bring the threats worse, because there is no winner and no loser in this game, right? We all know now I'm speaking fact and truth. You set Decca up from the start, all of you. You already know that Decca nearly took his life. But what is it? You want to push that little bit harder so that he tries to take his life. And you get enjoyment from it, sitting back, watching and laughing. Mate, I went through that as well. You've given it me as well. Putting 30 grand on my head. I took it serious. You claim, right, to have a child protection unit, but yet this name here protects vulnerable people and children. But yet you're abusing vulnerable women. Mate, if this was 15 years ago, you made a threat towards my terminally ill wife.
That's it.
God would give me the strength. Yeah.
There's not.
I'm going to say to you.
Steve, you can't say any more than that, mate. Once you told me, and once you sort of proved to me that that was done, I was like, but that's it for me. No matter, even if they even have substance to what they're talking about, that was it for me. Because as a person who has empathy for other people, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking to myself, doesn't matter how much I hate you, Steve, it doesn't matter how much you piss me off, mate. There's never a time in my life where I'm going to be like, well, I'm actually going to do this to him and I'm going to do that to him. It's absolutely disgusting.
Ronan, I won't even wish this upon my worst enemy. I wouldn't even want to push my worst enemy to want to be out to the point that I want to take my life. Now, if I was weak-minded, I could have quite easily shut my YouTube channel down because of this. I could have easily took my life because of this. The threats were that serious. But you know what? You've trolled my family, you've trolled my friends, you've trolled my ex-girlfriends. That didn't bother me one little bit. Do you know why? The same as Decca, I'm innocent of anything and everything. But if you want to do a background check on me, please do. But you're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked at what you find. But please, I'm asking, right? I mean, asking each and every one of you trolls. We all know who you are. We all know why you're doing it. You're setting him up to the extent, right? I'm asking you once. I'm going to ask you face to face live. I know you're watching. Right? I'm asking you. End it all. Finish it. Whatever the problem is, whatever you said and done, right? Finish it, please. End it. Stop making the misery out of life, because I know you enjoy it. It's written all over your faces, laughing at all this hassle you're bringing. I'm asking you once. Just end it all. Change your lives and live a life, man.
But
yeah?
Do they believe what they're saying though, Steve? This is the thing. Do they believe? Like, once again, sitting on the fence.
There is no guilt to be found. Move on. Move to another category, because you're not going to find it. All you're going to keep doing is setting him up to the point of the whole world's going to realize how idiots that you are. And then if Decca ever didn't do anything serious, the police aren't going to fucking take it serious.
Yeah.
Facts, we deal with facts. You will not convict anybody in the world with words from your mouth.
Yeah, I agree on that. But, and this is where I'm going to say this now, Steve. And by the way, this isn't me saying anything bad about Decca. This isn't me saying anything bad about anybody. But, and I'll say the same thing about myself, and I'll say the same thing about you, Steve. If anything, any proof ever came out about anybody on the allegations of what Decca has been accused of, then that's it. That would be it. Now, I've said that to Decca, but
Ronan, I'll second that one.
Now, the fact
Because
that I've spoke to that man, I've spoke to him, and I told him, but I says, look, I've really, really done my best homework onto this to find something, anything. If there's even an inkling, and I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find so. But my biggest question, and I've turned the comments off there because they're actually distracting me because I want to speak directly to you, Steve. But I can't think in my brain why they would want to do this to somebody. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot of people, though. It seems like this snowballed. This was like maybe 2 people, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And now there's like a network. It looks to me like there's a network of people working with each other. And some of them will actually believe what they're doing, but the right at the middle, the core of it, they know that a lot of this isn't true, or 100% of this isn't true.
Trying to think what. I'll deal with fact owning. Before I went into all of this, like I said, I was looking at the point of view that he was guilty of what these idiots were saying. I was believing it. 4 weeks of all the abuse and whatnot, and I seriously sat down and I thought to myself, hold on a minute, am I supporting the wrong person for the wrong reason?
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, I've done my checks. That's why I'm so adamant. I've done my checks on him.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find one shred of proof.
On all platforms, Steve. On all platforms.
Linux. I've had people that have used their databases from their work, which they could have got in serious trouble for.
Yeah.
I've searched high and low, north, south, east, and west. I've called in favors from people in departments, but I could not find one shred of fucking evidence, not one shred of proof. But the threats that go with it, you don't need to threaten and abuse anybody to get the truth. If you kept your mouth shut, nature takes its course. Have you ever heard of that one?
The thing about that's what I'm going to say, Steve. Throughout my whole life, anybody that's done anything wrong, I don't know what England's like. I'm talking about Northern Ireland here and Ireland in general. Throughout my whole life, anybody that's actually done something wrong, it's always came out. So if you even lie about something, it's always came out.
See, the thing is, the more they push and the more they push and the more they push with their lies, deceit, bullshit, making up evidence, creating and editing this, that, and the other to make people believe them.
Mm-hmm.
Where I come from, that's going to turn you away from them. Mm-hmm. Where I come from, you push somebody so far like that, they're going to walk away from that. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe by them sending me all the threats and abuse and whatnot and trying to search out who I am, find information out about me, they were doing that to try and scaremonger me away and not to support Decca, because they knew Decca on his own, he will take a fall and his life will be gone like that. I sometimes have to sit back, and look at the facts itself. Then I've got to look into my heart. Then I've got to look into my head. If the three come together in the triangle, chances are that you're backing the right horse. Yeah. But there's no way they're going to get people. Only the weak-minded and vulnerable are going to jump onto their side. It's like the saying goes, a fool will believe a fool.
Yeah. I seen one channel, Steve, and it was really, really disturbing. One channel that always preaches about Jesus and about God, and at the same time, they're
trolling and they're saying nasty things just to get excitement from it.
And it's like they're doing it in such a way where they're preaching Jesus and God, and then they're saying something, and then people are like, it's like they're being nice. It's like they're luring you in. And then
the funny thing is, it's a circle. It's the same circle, right? The other point I'll come to and touch on now. right? They've all got an axe at some point to grind against Decca for one reason or another. They've fallen out with him, don't like him. The other thing, I've had something put to me, but at the moment, I can't prove it to be fact. But I'm going to mention it just in case later on it turns out somebody's even gone to the extent to reach out to me to say they're part of a satanic group of haters.
What?
Maybe that's the understanding part of why they get enjoyment out of, making someone miserable.
Mm.
But my fact again, they claim to help the vulnerable. So then my question is, why send them nasty messages to my terminally ill wife? She's vulnerable.
Because
You
it's
claim to
not.
protect, but then you claim to flip in abuse.
Because Steve, that's what I'm trying to say to you. It's not about doing the right thing. It's about winning. It's not. It doesn't matter about the facts. It's about winning, and it's actually the same as the way everything is these days. It's not about, oh well, this is the fact, and this is going to clear the whole matter up. It's actually about, no, I'm going to win. I'm going to win, and I'm going to go to any extent to win, and that's what it's about.
See, Ronan, I'm the only one I can see supporting Decca. I'm the only one that took a stand and I stood up like a pillar when I saw through all their lies and deceit. And I worked it out from an early stage they were setting Decca up. This is me speaking now and my heart. I've done that all my life. I don't like bullies. I don't like people that want to bully somebody because they're a bit weaker. But then it took me aback a bit. It showed me something that I learned from all of this. You could be 30 stone, built like a brick shithouse. I would never have thought in a million years somebody sort of Decca's sort of size would ever want to take his life. It goes to show you size don't matter. This is something that will hurt everybody in the end. Don't matter how big you are.
Mm-hmm.
I could have easily shut my Facebook down as soon as I started getting all these threats. I could have shut my Facebook and the YouTube down because of all this, and they would have bullied me off. But why do you do it? Any one of you want to come on live now and show me the proof? I'm putting the challenge out there now, right? I don't know what Ronan thinks, but someone come on live and show me proof.
The thing, right? Steve, so I'm just looking at the comments. I'm going to take a couple of questions here from the comments, right? Because there's a lot of people, and so somebody says, Ronan, please explain to Steve what SRA is. He's killing me. I know what SRA is. I'm not going to talk about SRA because if you start talking about SRA on YouTube, then your whole channel gets shut down. SRA is a real thing, satanic ritual abuse, and that is a real thing that goes on out there. We're not going to be talking about that because that's just a subject that I would rather get a professional in to speak about. But there does seem to be I'm going to say it, a negative energy surrounding this. I don't know how you keep positive. I don't know how Decca keeps positive. The energy surrounding this, regardless of allegations, regardless of who's right and who's wrong, the energy surrounding this is
Negative.
incredibly negative, and it's very overwhelming. And I always think to myself, well, who's this energy directed at and why? And I always think 99% of the time, the people throwing the negative energy towards a certain person are throwing it at sort of an innocent person. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that Deck is innocent in the sense that he hasn't done anything wrong in his life.
Oh, when he was younger, he was a dickhead. He was an idiot to leave himself wide open for this. I admit that, hand on my heart. But they shouldn't use something like that against him to try and make him guilty of something that he's not.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. So that's the part that baffles me is the level. I have people coming in all the time and they would say stuff about me. I had one person say they were going to murder me, and I take nobody's comments down. I don't, but at the same time, that's not an accusation. What it seems like, and this is just my personal opinion, I could be wrong, but what it seems like, these people, these sort of trolls, are actually from his area. So they know a bit about his personal life. They know what he done in 2016 in a nightclub, or he know what he done whenever he was 15 or 16. So they've got deep information on him that they can manipulate and say and put out to the public and make it actually look like factual information.
But then really it's just word of mouth.
But then it's just word of mouth. But this is what.
Well, I mean, tonight all we're touching on tonight is fact.
So
because that's the reality.
The court of public opinion is worse than any legal court, because what people think basically turns you into that reality. Now, I could see if I was guilty of something like that, I would not be on YouTube. I would not be sitting there in front of a camera, wanting to start a podcast. I would change my name. I would get bloody surgery done on my face. I would grow my hair long. I would do anything to make myself not be.
Yeah, but you wouldn't choose to make if you want to call it a career on YouTube.
Exactly.
Knowing full well that you're going to take a fall later on because you're guilty.
You
can't make. We've made mistakes in the past, right? Like I said, the seed was planted 12 years ago. Right, I know all about this, right? Now, I've said before, right, I believed the trolls at one point. When I done my checks and looked into everything, and I knew I hadn't found, I couldn't lie. I couldn't lie for any amount of money in the world to try and convict Decca. Because you know what, I'll be wasting my time because I couldn't find a shred of solid proof that this guy have done anything that any of you lot are claiming. He's made some silly mistakes. People have planted the seed from them mistakes from way back. You could leave an ex-girlfriend. She might have a vendetta for you against you for the rest of your life.
But what actually happened here, Steve, is there was a lot of things to do with people getting paid money to actually say stuff.
Now, that's the other thing. Now, I can't be bought.
Is that true?
As a few of you have realised, right, I can't be bought.
Is that true, Steve, or is that shit?
That's fact.
That's fact.
That's fact.
Mm-hmm.
Right, there's been 3 lots of money that I can prove. Fact. It's on my channel. Go look back on some of my earlier videos.
So, guys, what we're going to do is, yes, go and subscribe to Steve's channel. It's the Equaliser. I will put it in the description of this video. Now, we're going to have to wrap this up pretty soon. But, Steve, have you any final words to say to everybody?
Yeah, I've got some final words. Until you can put solid proof, right, in front of me, in front of Ronan, in front of Crime Scene NE, in front of any of these podcasters that have taken an interest, do it. My final words are going out to those that have been part of this trolling campaign of Decca. Right? I ask you myself, stop it. Stop what you're doing. You will not ever overcome truth with a lie. You cannot pay someone to make the truth because it will be proved to be a lie. You cannot bully somebody into doing something they don't want to do. You can't threaten anybody to do what you want them to do. You just can't. So for the sake of humanity and your own mind and your own stupid games, because that's what it is. It's games. Games. Do you know what? There's a grandmaster out there somewhere of games. But from me to you, it's like a game of chess. I'm 10 steps ahead of all of you. Put on my wall what you like. Put on my Facebook wall what you like. Put on your own Facebook wall about me what you like. Unless there's proof, I'm sorry, but not one of us can help you.
Well, that's Steve. That's a very powerful message. I appreciate you coming on tonight. I appreciate. Do you think have we covered everything there that you wanted to say?
Um, I think pretty much so. Decca, you've got my support. Right, I told you I was a pillar. I didn't know you personally. I don't know what goes on in your personal life, but I sure as hell know what truth is from a lie. Give Crime Scene give their channel a like and a buzz.
Yeah, I'll get them up now. Just let me get Crime Scene Any up here now.
Can you think of anything more, Ronan, that you wanna put to me?
So I'll just I just want to put the Crime Scene Any his want to get a good comment up because he's actually
Oh, by the way, AJ, satanic cults, that was just something that was mentioned to me. So I'm putting it there in the air, but there's nothing substantiated. That was just put into the air from something that someone said. I'm not going to use that because I know nothing, and I can't prove nothing on that. But what I have spoke about today is fact.
Northeast Crime News, is that who that channel
is? Crime Scene Any.
Oh, sorry. Well, they're not in there, but there is a person Northeast Crime.
Yeah,
News.
Northeast Crime News. Give them a like and a share as well.
Yeah,
ring their bell. Subscribe to them.
Yeah, subscribe to them. Yeah, do that. But look, as I say,
but one more thing just before Ronan. Give Decca's site a like, a sub, and a share. Now let's start getting some support for this innocent gentleman. Now,
yes, that is true. So if you haven't subscribed,
if one can stand up, if one can stand up with fact, 1,000 more can join me.
Yeah, no, that is true. That is true. But listen, I am a firm believer in the truth always coming out, and the truth will come out eventually. And personally, myself, as I'm looking at this situation, I'm trying to ask you I'm trying to sort of put up questions that people are asking. They ask you, and didn't put up any questions tonight that were really, really malice. That I think that we're disgusting. There was a lot of them tonight. Those comments won't be removed because I don't believe in removing comments. Everybody's free to say what they like, and that can be countered by the fact. I do believe that if somebody put a gun to my head right now and says, is Decca innocent or guilty, I would go for innocent, because there is, right now as it stands, there is not any evidence to prove that the man is guilty.
And the other one, Ronan, is Crime Scene Any.
Yeah, and everybody
give that man a sub and a like.
Yeah, jump over to the Crime Scene NE, and I'll actually put all the links to the channels in the description if anybody wants to just give them a wee like and whatnot. I'll go through a few of them here.
But, and if there's me that can see,
and your channel too, I'll put the Equalisers in. I'll put official All or Nothing Decca's in, and I'll put Crime Scene NE.
And anybody else that's watching this, that's going through the same by these people or others, reach out to me, please. You know, if I find you innocent and it's fact, I'll back you to the hilt, 1,000,000%.
Just a question for you, Steve. What happens though whenever, like, I know we're getting back into this again, and I apologize because this we're going to end it here, but there was a question. I just don't want to go over this question. What happens at the end of all of this whenever no proof can come out? Like, for instance, for him, I've heard, I don't know if this is true or not, for you to get an advanced DBS check, you need to be going for a job. Like you have to be going for like working in a vulnerable place. There needs to be an employer, an employee sort of situation for you to get that.
See,
Now, a lot of people out there are spouting saying that they have this on Decca, but that isn't actually true, is it?
that I would not know whether they have or whether they haven't. They haven't produced it yet.
That's what I'm
No,
saying.
so I wouldn't like to say whether they have or whether they haven't. They might be wanting to try and, but I remember somebody saying on another channel, "I'm going to get Decca shut down this weekend. I have the proof."
Right, look, guys,
But,
look. Read the
well,
comment.
come on, then, Burkett, come on live right now.
No names, no names, no names, no names.
This person, come on live right now and put the proof to us. Come on live now. Come on.
No, the thing about it is,
Come on live and put the proof to us. Not no
Steve,
fake edited crap. It will be checked out.
Yeah.
Nobody, they're all saying word of mouth. They're all saying from their mouth, you can't convict with words.
Yeah.
You can't convict with words. All these years that you've been planting the seed for this setup, but none of you have put any proof forward, substantiated enough. Right? He's had his phones taken. He's had DNA. Don't you think the police would have convicted him by now? You can't convict by word of mouth. If you want to put proof forward, you do it on the live, not via email, not via WhatsApp, not via phone. You come on live and we take you serious.
So I'm going to say this here. So the guy here who says who has this, if that was an actual legitimate thing, that would be in every single after Decca's fight, that would have been on the front bloody page of the Sun newspaper. They would have titled it.
So the other thing, Ronan, if somebody has got something like that, right, they're not allowed to divulge it by law.
But you can sort of still.
Well, when they're saying that, oh, there's 6 of them floating around, somebody's broke the law if it's true. Nobody's put a shred of proof forward yet, right? If they had, we wouldn't be here right now. And this has been going on years. They're saying that they have it, but no one's producing it.
Yeah, that is true.
They're saying it. They're not producing it.
Look, there's a good post from the opposing side, right? So, humble dryer #2 sort the live out for next week. Don't do this in anger. It needs to be controlled. And
there's nothing. There's nothing. I know who you are. There's nothing tonight being done in anger. Far from it.
But I think that's what
passion
means.
Passion.
I think that's what this person means. That tonight hasn't been any anger. There hasn't been any screaming or shouting. I am an unbiased person in this whole situation. Yes, I don't believe anything that's been said about Decca, but at the same time, I'm not taking the approach of look, screaming and shouting at the people that are accusing him. I'm unbiased. I'm looking at the evidence. There is no evidence, but there is a person here, humble dryer #2, sort the live out next week. Don't do this in anger. It needs to be controlled. And I totally 100% agree on that.
There hasn't been no anger tonight. Passion.
Yeah, there hasn't been anger tonight. That's what I think they're saying. There has been no anger tonight. So if it's done like this, if there's talks done like this, then you can get to the bottom of stuff. Now, that is the end of the podcast, guys. But Steve, I'm very, very happy that you've
Thank you for having me on, Ronan.
It's my pleasure, Steve. And a lot of talking's been done. I hope that it didn't overtalk you a lot. I do have a habit of doing that, so I apologize if I done that tonight to you.
No, it's been perfect.
But I hope that you've shown your face, and I hope that that you've got everything that you need to say out. I hope you come back to the channel and we can do more talks about different subjects if you would like. That would be great. But guys, that is the end of the show. And I hope you all have a really, really, really good evening, and peace.